today I want to show you guys how to process your pumpkins at the end of either Halloween or harvest, however, whatever you guys use your pumpkins for. We decorated our front porch with the pumpkins and then of course carved some for Halloween, and then it started to freeze, so we pulled them inside, and today I'm going to show you what I've been doing with them. It's a pretty self-explanatory process, but I figured I could break it down for you guys, and that way you have some ideas on how to use it. So obviously pumpkins don't come halved. You want to cut your pumpkin in half, because what you're going to do next requires it to be a little smaller in sections as you prepare them. So you're going to scoop out the seeds. Now we save our seeds. We save them and make pumpkin seeds, salted pumpkin seeds, and the kids love them. I've got a bowl here. I'm just going to scoop that out real quick. You could put this little piece in the microwave, but I like to cut it in half one more time. Just makes it easier when you do the next step. So put this in the microwave for 1 minute. It just warms it up so that the skin is easier to cut or peel off.
Why doesn't it peel off?
While that's in the microwave, I'm going to empty out this side. So I'll set this aside for later, and I'll sort out the seeds from the innards.
I'm going to open that.
Okay, so it's not hot, it's just lightly warmed so that I can cut the outer skin off. Don't use my fingers. So what I'll do is I'll cut it into about 1 inch lengthwise. You can cut it any way you want, really. Just makes it easier to cut the skin off.
Skin off?
So next you're gonna take the skin, and all you have to do is just cut it off. By no means is there a science to this at all. You just find what works best for you, and the end goal is just to get the skin off. You don't want to boil it yet with the skin on, because you don't want to overcook it. Okay, I'm going to put my next one in the microwave for another minute. And I have a big bowl here. I'm going to be placing these dice in. Again, perfect. Tossing them in my bowl. You do want them to be somewhat of a decent size, because depending on what you're doing with these, you're going to be packing them in jars. So if you make the cubes too big, then they're not going to fit in the jars. I'm going to continue doing this with all the other pieces of the pumpkin, and when I'm all done, I'll show you the next part. show you this part here. So some of the pumpkins may have spots on them that are starting to rot or they're getting mushy. Just cut around them or cut them off and discard of them. You don't want that to be going in here. And don't throw this stuff away. Take it outside, feed it to the geese. They'll love you for it. If you have chickens or other animals on your farm that might benefit from this, share the love. Don't just throw it away. Okay, I'm done with that part. So the next part of this is getting a stock pot or a large saucepan. You're going to fill it with water and bring it to a boil. So while we're waiting, a couple quick things. Common question that I had when I started this process was, do you have to use a certain type of pumpkin to process? No. You can use the pumpkin pie, like the sugar pie pumpkins, or you can use the carving pumpkins. All pumpkins are edible. So I'm just using basic carver pumpkins. And I do have a couple pie pumpkins that I'll use too, which are like the little ones, that I'll do eventually with as well. But for now, just using a plain old carver pumpkin. Okay, so another common question is, can you use a water bath canner or do you have to use a pressure canner? No, you cannot use a water bath canner. Reason being is that pumpkin has the potential to grow bacteria, and if you don't pressure can it for at least 90 minutes, you have a risk of botulism. So you cannot water bath can, you have to pressure can. Another common question is, can you puree it and then can it? No. Your best bet is to do what I'm doing here by dicing them up in chunks and then putting them in the jar with ladled boiling water, which I'll show you that process. When you're ready to use them for pumpkin bread, pumpkin pie, soups, whatever you're thinking of using them for, then you can take them out of the can, puree them, and use them in the way you need to use them. It's just safer that way. So, the water's almost ready. I'm ready to boil. We're gonna toss that pumpkin in and get this process going. All right, we've got the water boiling. Let's go ahead and toss some of these in. Be careful, you don't want to get burned. We're just gonna put a couple handfuls in until it's somewhat full. Let it return to a boil for 2 minutes, and then you will spoon them out with a slotted spoon. Okay, we're just about done. We're down to our 17 seconds. Last 17 seconds there, and then we will scoop out the pumpkin and place into our jars. 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll fill up the jar. First jar is full enough, we're going to scoop in the hot water. I'm going to leave an inch of headspace. And I'm going to go ahead and toss in the next batch here. Get them going. Okay, you're going to take your either a knife or like a canning tool and just get all the air bubbles out of the side. Pack it in. Okay, and now it's ready for a lid. We'll just continue to repeat this process until we get enough the pressure canner. And I believe my pressure canner can hold about 7 quarts. so I've got, it's probably 4 quarts here, so I'm gonna probably do a few more pumpkins before I pressure can. Okay, so I've got my pressure canner ready to go. Got water inside the pressure canner. You don't need too much, but just enough so that it doesn't boil dry. I've got at least 7 canned quarts here. I'm gonna go ahead and place this inside the pressure canner. Okay. So I've got all 7 quarts in there. I've got my temperature set to high, and I'm going to, it's gonna come up to a boil. I'm gonna go ahead and put my lid on now and wait for the steam to come out the vent. When the steam's coming through here and this back here pops up, then I know it's time to start my time and to put my weight on. The little guy back here has popped up. I've got steam, I don't know if you can see that coming up here. It's now time to start my 90 minutes. My little handy dandy weight. Now that's gonna bring it up to 15 PSI is where you want it to sit. Once it hits on here at 15, then you want to turn your burner down, but maintains at 15. Otherwise it'll go too high and you have risk of exploding.
So.
Alright, so here is the finished product pulled out of the pressure canner. I am on my 3rd batch now, and I'll end up with 21 quarts of pumpkin from those 2 pumpkins that I canned today, that I processed. So not too bad. Being able to make some pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, other yummy goodness with this. So if you liked today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye guys!